Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to talk about why doing an MBA in Asia, and more specifically at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and how it can help you advance in your career. My name is Nelly, and I'll be the moderator on behalf of the UniMy team, and I'm here with a very special guest. First, I want to introduce Usilana Lee, who is a marketing and admissions manager for the MBA programs, and I'm here also with two of the school's alumni who will speak about their motivation and experience doing an MBA. Before giving the word to our guest, I want to tell everyone who is listening, you can ask questions anytime during the webinar using the chat box. We'll take time to answer at the end of the session. All questions are welcome, so don't hesitate. So I think that everything is set now, and I'm giving the word to you, Si.
Sure. Thank you very much, Nelly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to you all for joining us at this information session with UniMy. So I'm Usalina, a manager from the marketing and admissions team. And tonight we have Adrian. He is our full-time MBA graduate, and also Pauline as well. She's also our full-time MBA graduate from the class of 2020. So I think I'll take around maybe 10 to 15 minutes to go through with you a brief introduction of our program. And afterwards, we will have some time for a chit chat with Adrian and Pauline on, their MBA journey in Hong Kong and the post MBA career that they are going to share with you. And afterwards, we will have an open floor Q&A session. We welcome, questions from you if you are considering taking a top MBA in Asia. Okay. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right, so first of all, before I start letting you know what HKUST MBA is about, I'd like to ask you a quick question. Why are you thinking to take an MBA? What do you want to look for from a transformational MBA? Some of you may be, having some keywords in mind. You want a career advancement. Maybe you want to relocate if you're, originally from Europe or US and you want to relocate to Asia. Some of you want a very full-on new challenge. You want to pivot to a new career, new industry, a new function. So when you're thinking about why you want to take an MBA, it may worth some of your time to think about what the market actually needs today, or maybe 3 years or 5 years from now. In the market, what's your competence? So now let's look at the trend. I'm going to share with you 2 highlights tonight on what the market is looking for in terms of talent recruitment. Business technology is not, I'm sure it's not a new term to you. Actually, many companies, especially MNCs, or I would say even more local, traditional companies, they are looking at options to go through digital transformation. Many investment banks, they actually started building up digital teams so that they can carry on their transformation so that they are not being excluded in the new trend of business technology. So on this screen, you can see a few of the big names. So for example, PwC mentioned 82% of the financial services companies, they plan to increase fintech partnership in the coming 3 to 5 years. So this actually reminds you for the skill set that you are having now, is that still relevant in the future or after your full-time MBA? Now let's take a look at the World Economic Forum. They released a report and mentioned that by the year of 2025, around half of the population of the employees group would need to be reskilled. So what are the skills that you need to put on your CV? I've highlighted 3 out of the 10 top skills. That's the report mentioned that by year 2025, not long from now, you need to have all these skills to be very competent. So they are analytical thinking and innovation, tech use monitoring and control, and also tech design and programming. So what does it mean to you? Which means if in the future, even though you will not be working in a tech company or you won't be taking up, very tech related functions, there's still a high chance that you need to be able to manage tech teams, manage tech members in your team, so that you can help your company to move forward and work on some, business decisions. So this is one reminder that I'd like to let you know about the trend of employment nowadays. business technology is not only a hot term, but it's actually something that many companies are seeking solutions to help their business grow. The next one is actually sustainability. So sustainability or green initiatives, it may be a hot term in the market nowadays, but actually many companies are putting these ideas into real actions. So for example, the United Nations actually wrote out 17 sustainable development goals that they encourage companies to follow these goals to help tackle, for example, climate issues, poverty problems, so that we come together and make a better future world. So you can see some names on the screen like Microsoft, IKEA, Samsung, Lego. They are actually putting these frameworks into consideration when they make business decisions and business directions. So what you are going to learn in your MBA, you have to think about, does that MBA actually brings you new knowledges that fits what the market needs in the future? Now I'm going to go through a few points of how the MBA program HKUST will help you to build a competitive CV after your MBA. So first is about the flexibility and personalization and how you strengthen your knowledge on Asia. So first of all, let's look at the curriculum structure. All our courses are developed according to 5 different focuses. They are business technology, consulting, finance, sustainable leadership, and marketing. So all these 5 categories, you'll be able to mix and match your combination. So it's not like you have to focus on only one concentration. You do not have to define your own study track. Instead, you can mix and match and make it very tailor-made study pattern according to your career plan and your interest. And among all these courses, we have core courses, flexible course, and electives. For flexible course and electives, of course, this is where you can be very focused on where you want to develop your future career. So for example, if you want to enter a tech company in the future, you may want 30% of credits on consulting and then 30% of credits on business technology, and then maybe the rest on management. So around 70% of the course materials you'll be able to personalize based on your own interest. And another flexibility that we offer our full-time MBA students is that you can choose the duration of when you complete your study. So the standard mode would be of 16 months. That would cover a full semester of optional overseas exchange or internship. If you're on a company sponsor, if you're from a family business, and you want to return to your work as soon as possible, then we offer an accelerated 12-month study mode. Talking about how personalized MBA that we offer, another personalization that we offer at the MBA is on our career service. So we have a dedicated career team sitting within the MBA office, supporting our MBA students and MSc students. So basically the network and insight that they bring to the MBA class would be only on the master level. So how do we interact with our full-time MBA students? For each of you, we will assign you with one member from the career and professional development team, so that that person is your go-to person whenever you have questions about, job search. Maybe one day you have job interview, you want a prep interview, or if you go for an interview and you want to get some insights of the company. So that would be the person that you can always contact with. And of course, the team arranges many different types of events, for example, recruitment events, MBA career day, networking opportunities. And another additional resource that the team offers you would be a one-to-one career coaching session that we hire external professional career coaches to give you one-to-one, personalized advices based on your career aspiration. So I guess what you have to do is you have to think about what you want to achieve out of the MBA, so that during the MBA, apart from study and apart from career development, you know how to prioritize your needs. So this is a quick overview on the career result from our class of 2021. Despite COVID, the class actually delivered a really good career result. 95% of them actually found a job within 3 months upon graduation. and 79% switched job function, and 75% switched industry. Now let's look at more data. Around 40% of the class found a job in financial services. In general, that's quite common, anything between 30 to 40%, because after all, Hong Kong is a key finance hub. And the second one is consulting, that took 13%. And the third one, technology, that took 11%. In fact, technology has been consistently in our top 3 placement industries in the past few years. So companies coming to recruit our students, we include, for example, Apple, Microsoft, banking, of course. Schneider is one of our key supportive partner. We have quite a lot of alumni working there as well. And of course, some consulting firm, for example, McKinsey. And now let's look at the location of where our MBA students go to after the MBA. In general, around 50 to 60% of students would be able to find a job in Hong Kong. And this year, 65% stayed in Hong Kong and found a job. And in general, for the Asia region, for that year, that would be around about 90%, living in working in Hong Kong, mainland China, or other countries in Asia. And a small portion of them actually left Asia and found a job in Americas and Europe. So you can have an overview of the employment supports and results from our intake from a class 2021. Now, apart from studying, apart from career supports, networking is also one of the key elements of the MBA study. So how do we support you to strengthen your network here? At HKUST MBA, we have a dedicated alumni team supporting our MBA students to build their network and to get connected with some, key business leaders here. We have over 5,800 alumni all over the world, as you can see on the map, and they cover 65 nationalities. So how do we connect all of you if one day, you may want to leave Hong Kong after you complete the MBA? We actually have an HKUST MBA Virtual Alumni Hub. This is like a directory. Basically, if you go on that platform, you choose a location or nationality or job function that you want to connect with, and then you'll be able to get a list of people that you can connect. So for example, after Hong Kong, if you want to move to Singapore, then you can connect with the HKUST MBA alumni in Singapore, which becomes very handy to you. So apart from the network in Hong Kong, we also have extended network with other business schools all over the world. So HKUST is the only member in the GNAM network, which is the Global Network for Advanced Management. In this network, there are over 30 top business schools, for example, Yale. As I mentioned, Asian network is very important to you, and Hong Kong apparently have a really close bonding with the mainland China. If you want to get a sense on, how life is or how business is in mainland China, we actually have 2 choices of exchange program for you. One is with Peking University and another one with Tsinghua. So please note that there will be a selection process for that full semester exchange program, and you'll be connected with our exchange team when you join the MBA. And apart from the Asia region, we also have a strong network within this GNAM platform. For example, if you wish to, you'll be able to apply for a dual degree program with the MAM program at Yale University. So finally, now you're looking at an MBA in Hong Kong. I'm sure you know about, Hong Kong, maybe you're doing some research. And Hong Kong is a very dynamic city. There are a lot of opportunities happening here. In 2022, Hong Kong was named freest economy in the world by the Fraser Institute. So basically, there are a lot of business happening here, not only in Hong Kong, but also, of course, with mainland China or other parts of the world. And last week, the ECA International also released a report mentioning the positive real wage growth of Hong Kong. So which means after deducting inflation, despite COVID, Hong Kong still recorded a positive salary increment. So of course, low tax rate. If you're from some other parts of the world, For information, Hong Kong's personal income tax rate is anything between 2% to 17%, depending on your income range. But I would say that's a very competitive tax rate compared to many other countries. And after all, Hong Kong is very safe. We have a very well-built metro system, clean and well-managed. So if you go out and network, after work at night, I would say it's still pretty safe, if you want to go out and network. Okay, so I'm going to skip admission information because I'm sure you'll be able to find them on our website. Before I move on to the Q&A session, I'm going to let you know about the scholarships for our full-time MBA applicants. So in general, we have 3 types. The first one is a wide range of merit scholarship and professional awards. We have a merit scholarship that covers up to 100% of your tuition fee. But of course, that would be given to really outstanding candidates who has strong professional background, academic background, interview performance, GMAT score, and your possible contribution to the MBA community. We also have other professional awards, hoping to attract candidates from diverse backgrounds and industry professions. For example, we have the Business Tech and Innovation Awards. We have Women Leadership Awards. We also have some awards that's more related to different nationalities. Secondly, we have the Terry Zhang MBA Admission Scholarship. Terry Zhang is actually one of our MBA graduates. He's the founder and CEO of Mad Hat, which is an online game company. So he's very supportive to us in attracting, candidates from all over the world. So he donated some money to us and created this scholarship. So if you are a returning alumni of HKUST, for example, you studied your undergraduate here, you will get a higher chance on getting this Terry Zhang MBA scholarship. Finally, we have an alumni referral scheme, which is called HKUST MBA Community Succession Scheme. So in your application, you need 2 referees. If you invite one HKUST MBA or EMBA alumni and become your referee, you'll be able to enjoy 3 benefits. The first one is an application fee waiver of 1,000 Hong Kong dollars. Second one is guaranteed admission interview, because that's usually on a shortlisted basis. And finally, in your second installment of your tuition fee, you'll be able to get an allowance of 30,000 Hong Kong dollars. So if you wish to apply to all these scholarships, basically you do not need to do anything extra. You just need to submit your application. Except for Terry Zhang MBA scholarship, you need to indicate that you want to apply for that. Okay, so it's easy peasy. Okay, finally, I'd like to invite you to follow us on our social media channels. We are very active on, our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our IG. And if you have any questions, I highly recommend you to sign up to a one-to-one consultation with us so that we can give you advices based on your CV. On our website, we have a chat with us function before you apply to the program or actually apply to the program. Anytime if you want to get in touch with our MBA graduates or MBA students, please do talk to them. It will be a great chance for you to understand more about the life here. And finally, we have year-round events. Please follow us on our event page so that you can get the most up-to-date information on our event schedules. All right, so that's all for my presentation, and that's the very lovely campus view of the HKUST MBA. If you come and study, that will be right next to your classroom. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, coming back to this chat room, so maybe we can start having a chat with Adrian and Pauline. So maybe Adrian first. So Adrian, he's actually originally from France, and he's now in Singapore with a tech giant company. He was a graduate from the class of 2019. Pivoted from a role from the central bank in Europe, and then landed a job in Asia, in Singapore, with 2 jobs, one after the other one. So maybe Adrian, can you give us a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm Adrian. I'm French, as you see. I'm based in Singapore, and I was from the Intech 2018, graduated in 2019, I think. And it's been so about 3 years working. I worked first of all at Gojek, which is an Indonesian startup. I mean, it was a startup. Now it's a publicly listed company. And I recently changed to join Twitter, and I mainly work in data science and machine learning. I've been managing team and also practicing data science since the end of my MBA. Happy to be here.
Great, thank you very much, Adrian. And we also have another alumni ambassador here, who is Pauline. So Pauline was originally from Thailand, and she's now returning. She's now returned to Thailand, and she's actually an entrepreneur, running her own business after the MBA. And Pauline was from our class of 2020, so graduated not long ago. So Pauline, can you give a great greetings to our audience tonight?
Hi everyone, my name is Pauline. I'm originally from Thailand. So I actually same intake as Adrian, 2018, but I graduated a little bit later because of my choice of the career, my choice of the program. Now I'm currently a CMO of my own startup, which I founded right after my MBA with my MBA's friends during exchange program. My background is design, family business, marketing before I joined MBA, and now I'm just doing the health tech startup. Our startup focusing on cosmetic dentistry. Our technology focus on the remote solution. Yeah, so happy to be all here.
Thank you so much, Pauline. Okay, so thank you for joining us tonight. So maybe we can have a chat on, some more basic questions. I think the audience tonight are actually deciding if they want to do an MBA or not. So after it's a very big investment in terms of, time and money, of course. So to start with, maybe Adrian, looking back, you graduated for a few years. Why did you want to do an MBA?
Yeah, I think at the time, I was based in Germany, first of all. I was working for the European Central Bank, and I've been doing most of my career in finance. Maybe not too far from, data science, analytics, but still in a different industry and, well, not really practicing as such. And the goal was really for me expand my knowledge, be able to bridge the gap between data science, machine learning, and some technical background I already had from a master in mathematics to understand business impact that it can have on different companies. And the second objective was also, move to a more dynamic place, I believe, which is Asia, where there was clearly at the time, a lot of opportunities, very high growth, whether it's in China or in Southeast Asia. I think both of them were clearly showing tremendous potential. Are still showing tremendous potential, I believe. So this was really my objective. And as a matter of fact, it is actually stated in my application statement to HKUST, which was exactly what I wanted to do, and it's exactly what I did in the end.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. And what about you, Pauline? What brought you to come to a decision of taking an MBA?
Yeah, so my original background is in design. So basically, I did fashion design. I had a chance to work abroad in the US for a while, and I really, really like international environment. After that, I had a chance to run my family business a little bit, and it's come to a realization that I want to extend my knowledge in business, want to understand a little bit more, like on those things that I'm not familiar with, like finance or like accounting and everything, in order to be able to run the business. So I thought that MBA is a good answer for me to extend my knowledge, like in a broader way. And that's why I decided to, okay, I'm gonna go with an international MBA and landed into HKUST.
Yeah, MBA is after a good tool for general management training, generalist training as well. So the topic of tonight is step up to your new career in Asia or in Hong Kong. So Adrian, as an European, why did you want to come to Asia for the MBA? And what was your first impression?
Yeah, I think there was many, probably various reasons for Asia. I think Asia clearly shows a lot more potential than what we have in Europe. A lot of technology still need to be adopted, and it's also more dynamic for technology environment in general. If you look at adoption in Europe, it's a lot slower because the incumbent are a lot better. Where if you look at Asia, you probably look at the first generation of fully digital natives, still with a lot of things to be done. If you think of countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, but tremendous opportunity, very high growth. I think opportunity to build things from scratch almost without so much legacy were the thing that definitely attracted me to go to Asia. Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Pauline? Because you were originally already in Asia. Why did you want to remain in that region or choose Hong Kong?
Okay, for me, so I was born and raised in Thailand, so I'm pretty familiar with emerging markets, but I want to learn a little bit more in the developed market. And I think Hong Kong is a good combination between Western and Eastern markets. I also like the diversity of Hong Kong. In terms of the business person, like if you want to start a business, I feel like it's a good chance for you to learn like what is the upcoming. It's like kind of like a trendsetter developed market in Asia. And I was just choosing between Singapore and Hong Kong, and I like ended up like choosing Hong Kong on top of, like everything else. I feel like I like the weather and like how lively the city is, so that's why I chose Hong Kong.
Yeah, I hope you felt how vibrant Hong Kong was, like how high speed everything happened when you studied here. So let's narrow down the topic. We talked about why MBA, why Asia, why Hong Kong, and coming to the choice of school. I'm sure you did some research, and eventually you came to HKUST for MBA. So Adrian, what made you come to HKUST finally?
So I think there was a couple of factors at the time. There was first of all a beautiful campus. I mean, when you look online, it's probably one of the nicest campus you can find, and with the view that we can see literally every day, was really mind blowing. But beyond this, I think you will look at the flexibility the MBA can provide you, and I made full use of this flexibility. Right, I think UC just talked about 12 months, 16 months. At the start, I was going there to do 16 months. Was it an 18 months actually when we did ours? I don't even recall. But anyway, 1 year and a half. And I got opportunities to join Gojek before actually the end of the MBA. Therefore, I changed to a 12 months MBA. So we have an incredible flexibility, still without compromising on the quality. And the second thing that you will see is that, and something I hear a lot in Asia, especially among other MBA students, is the quality of the faculty at HKUST is probably definitely the top in Asia, with very international professors that are used to teach at other top schools, whether it's Stanford or others, and that are really very, I believe, really interesting. In the end, you choose your course just because the teachers are really entertaining, really engaging, and can provide you with this different depth of thoughts that you could not get by just going for pure academics.
Right. In fact, we do have two different groups of professors. One group would be more focused on academic teaching, and the other group, they were senior management in the market, for example, from McKinsey or from IBM. They teach our MBA students, so you'll be able to learn not only the academic knowledge but also practical practices. And what about you, Pauline? What made you come to HKUST finally?
So I shortlisted like the top in the MBA school in Asia because I like only want to do it in Asia. I wanted to start my business in Asia. So that's why I like scoped down into this area. After that, I had a look on the program structure and I found HKUSC answer my question in terms of gaining experience. So I want to gain the most like out of the program within like short period, and HKUST like allows me to do so many things over like 16 months. The length is not too short or too long. It's like a perfect length for you to learn enough of the and gain enough of the experiences. So I had a chance to do everything that I wanted. Actually, I had a chance to go for an exchange. I had a chance to do like 2 internships during the program, and also like join like career track, 2 career tracks, and one like startup like experience in the US. It's more like a trip that we like learn from the startup. So basically, I did a lot over 16 months, and I think it's a good combination for me as a person who to learn more about business world. Curriculum wise, it's provide enough information for me to learn as well. It's not only about like traveling and like but also like you can gain a real knowledge, and you can select what you want and you are interested in, so you can design your own as well. So yeah, that's why I chose HKUST MBA.
Very full on. I think it also explains why you and Adrian started studying together, but then you graduated 1 year, like next year, compared to the Adrians. A lot of things happened. Very good to maximize your MBA study for sure. So coming to an MBA, especially during COVID, I think people need to be resilient. Not only when you take an MBA, but when you work, in your daily work. It's good to remain resilient, so that you can prepare for different situations. So I'd like to understand from both Adrian and Pauline on how you think resilience helped you to navigate your current career, and how does that relate to your MBA study. So maybe Pauline goes first.
Okay. I think the environment shapes you to be resilient through like many factors. One of the most important factor for me is friends. It's like actually my first time that I met like so many people with different backgrounds. Like actually Adrian as well, he's my group mate. We have like totally different background. He's in data science, I'm in like design. So it's a very good combination of diversity. And I have a lot of chance to see like people from different like experiences, and that's how like you learn to be resilient when working together as well. And I think in the class it's also like the professor forms you, the way you think, how you make the decision, how you like your mindset besides like what you learned in the classroom, right? So that's kind of like shape you before you go out from the school, and after that it's for you to apply those things that you like learn in the program. And for me, I have been like leveraging what I've learned in the class through my friends to run my business during COVID. So it kind of like the experience that you got kind of like evolved with the environment after you got out from MBA as well, so you keep growing and be more resilient over time. Yeah, so that's from my side. Pass it to
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yeah, that's actually very important. And talking about COVID, the time when Adrian graduated was a funny time. When COVID actually just hit, the world. How does resilience mean to you, Adrian?
So I think, yeah, definitely. We just started 6 months later or a couple of months later, COVID started, and everything became very different. I believe stock market crash, and everyone gets scared for their job, and that's where you need to keep your head cool, and that's something with a lot of rationality, business understanding, and things that you are being taught in MBA on how will this affect you. You can start thinking, how do I adapt to this change? Because in the end, the resilience is just about how do you see the change, how do you predict the change, and how you are able to adapt to this in order to make the most out of it. When we saw, at least in my company, we saw these kind of things happening. We undertook, and I was part of this, a lot of changes in terms of business orientation, in terms of being able to change the company quickly and adapt it to this environment where there's less movement. Your movement is restricted. How do you adapt the business to this, and how do you make the most out of it in terms of cutting your cost extremely quickly? So MBA will teach you, that you need to change, you need to be resilient, but resilience will go hand in hand with changing your behavior. And I can only say, the higher your responsibility in a company after your MBA, the more resilience you will need, the more capability to adapt to change and unforeseen circumstances you will need. To some extent, before my MBA, you're cruising with the company and with the leadership. After your MBA, you're taking ownership of it, and you have to steer towards it. And that's something, your MBA will also kind of not teach you, because I don't think it can be taught, but you will experience it during your MBA, between juggling between many different topics, between being challenged intellectually to adapt to some situations, studying a lot of different cases that in the end will turn out useful, not only for steering the company or steering the business you're in, but also steering your own career, because the two goes hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. So coming to an MBA, as I said, a big investment. Being resilient is important, and being very motivated is also important as well, because MBA is a good tool, but it's not a golden ticket. So Pauline, you mentioned that you took more than one internships during the MBA and also other international experiences. How was your experience on the multiple internships during the MBA? How do you think that motivation helps you? Does it play an important part in your MBA journey?
Yeah, so I ended up doing like 2 internships during my MBA. One was in Hong Kong in corporate brand, another one within a startup in Singapore. So from my experience, I feel like first thing is that you need to set your goal very clear, what you want to gain out of the internships, what type of internships you want, what is the purpose of doing it, and what you're gonna like do after you have like learned from the experience, right? So during that time for me, it was not easy because my background is only in Thailand, like in the business. So I ran like family business, right? So when I want to go into a corporate world, you like besides like the support from the school, you sometimes need to like reach out to people. Luckily, like in HKUST, you have a lot of chance to like connect to people. You have a chance to reach out to like professor. I actually landed into my internship through one of the business professor. He's like one of the marketing professor, and I just go to him because I want to learn more about marketing in the big brands. And yeah, I ended up like got that internship. And another one is like in Singapore, where like that's I need to reach out to so many people, talk to them, showing my interest, how I it contribute to the company, and like we kind of like agree on like what I would learn and what I would contribute over a short period. So basically the goal was very clear. Once you set on that, and then you try to like grab the opportunities out there. Luckily the environment in MBA helps a lot in terms of the connection, how they like group you, how they like teach you to like go into interview. It helps. So yeah, I think it's a combination between self-motivated goal and the support from the school.
Yeah, that's very good. I think that's an excellent demonstration on of like, what motivation it means and how it brings you to the next step that you want to reach to. And what about Adrian? Because now you're working in a very competitive industry, a fast-growing one. How do you think like self-motivation, does it help you to get into that industry? Switching, pivoting from Europe to Asia and from where you were to where you are in terms of career profession?
Yeah, I think MBA is great to change industry. It's obviously a reason why many people do it. I would just tend to say, it's not the only thing, especially in tech. You will see a lot of meritocracy, right? It's about merit. Do you have merits to move there? Do you have the right mindset? And are you able to do the job well? If I look at, I wanted to go back to data and data science, and obviously this takes an extra set of skills than just MBA. MBA will teach you all the business side, how to bridge the gap, but you also have to do your homework in terms of fundamentals of data, which are like learn SQL, learn Python, learn about machine learning, data science. And while there are courses for this at the MBA, it's really up to you whether you believe these are enough. But to break into a complete data science role, you obviously need to do a lot more than this. And that's the thing one need to understand if they want to bridge into a new career, and not only in tech, is there extra skills that I need to gain during my MBA in order to be successful? How do I bridge the gap between what I learned during my MBA and what I need to break into this industry? And these are really the type of questions that will be really valuable in the end. If you demonstrate to future employer that what you've learned in MBA is extremely valuable, even in a very specialized field, which is machine learning, then you're already winning a lot. If you're able to make the right problem statement, you will have great career opportunity. Then the real point here is do your homework about the industry, whether it's finance, investment banking, know the code of the industry, and know what you are missing even before going to the MBA, because this will be tremendous asset in order to continue there.
Yeah, that's definitely a very valid point about motivation. We did some of our full-time MBA students actually started networking, remotely when they were in Europe and they wanted to move to Hong Kong 1 year before they start the MBA. So highly motivated. So coming to the last question of this session, so both of you graduated from the program 2 to 3 years already. How do you find the influence of the MBA or the benefits that the MBA brings you in terms of a short term, mid term, and maybe foresee as a longer term of benefits? How do you view that? Maybe Pauline, you can go first.
Yeah, for me, it's actually like I feel like I changed so much before and after MBA. The way I look at business, the way I look at things, the way I analyzing information is totally different from the day one. So in terms of the hard skills, definitely you will gain a lot from the MBA, but it depends on you as well. Some people might like focus more on networking and like landing into a job that they want, or some people probably want to study and attend as much class as possible. It depends on how you want, right? So one thing, hard skills a lot. Secondly, I think managing, like in order for you to be a management or like in a managing role, um, MBA kind of like allows you to improve the skill sets, both soft skill and hard skill again. Intrapersonal skills, you have a chance to learn and actually use it in the class, and even like when you do like some workshop with the school, when you do like in the class participation, you have a chance to develop that skills. On top of that, I think the investment that I get so much from MBA probably is alumni the school provide to us. We have a strong relationship. Even like we never met before, but sometimes you just randomly like, oh, anyone like in Bangkok, anyone in Singapore, anyone in Hong Kong, and we just meet and like get to know each other. I think this one is like gonna continue forever for my life, I guess. So it's a lifelong like relationship that you had. And the last part is like when you have that network, you can learn from each other as well. For example, if I want to learn a little bit more about like how things are going from the maybe like data side of the world, like that I'm not like so familiar with, probably I can reach out to Adrian to like asking for some advices, or that lifelong learning relationship is very valuable for me. So yeah, so it's a really really good investment. I think I'm very like happy with the investment that I put into MBA.
Good to hear that. Thank you, Pauline. And what about you, Adrian?
Yeah, I think MBA is definitely a long-term investment. I think what I've learned for this is mainly your problem-solving skills will be something that differentiates you from other people potentially that have not done an MBA, that are purely technical, at least in my field. That you will see you're able to talk to stakeholders differently. You're able to bridge the connect between business, C-level, and well, the data side, the data science side. You're able also to prioritize your own work. And that's something that will be also extremely valuable, work under a lot of pressure and being able to deliver on many different aspects, whether it's technical, non-technical, or deal with more human problem. I think, in the last 3 years, after my MBA, more than 3 years now, been fortunate. I've changed team probably 5 or 6 times, manage up to 30 data scientists at one time. And these are all things, you will learn on the spot. I said the first time I was managing people, you're never ready to manage people. You're never ready to take care of their career growth. But the only way to get as close to readiness as you can is probably to do an MBA still. That's one of the key lessons that I've taken at the time.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm so glad to see that you both got so much from the MBA program, and I'm sure you find that very rewarding journey. So I think that's all about this chit chatting with Pauline and Adrian. So I'll hand over to you, Nelly, for the open floor Q&A, perhaps.
Thank you very much, Usi, Pauline, Adrian, for sharing your experience. Indeed, we have quite a few questions, and Usi, I suggest to give Adrian and Pauline a break and start with some questions related to admission. Okay, there is someone here says, thank you, I would like to enroll, and we appreciate the enthusiasm. And this gives us an opportunity maybe to mention what are the approaching deadlines for applying in the program. And there is also a few questions about the tuition fee. So maybe you can tell us also how much the program costs.
Sure. So currently the application for full-time MBA for intake 2023 is open, and the upcoming deadline is actually not far from now. It's on 9th of November, and the second one will be on 11th of January in 2023. So for international candidates, we highly recommend you to apply in round 1 or latest round 2, so to allow us more time to arrange your international student visa for you. And about the tuition fee for the full-time MBA program, either you take the 12-month or the 16-month, they actually cost the same. That would be Hong Kong dollars $600,000. Converting to USD, that would be around 77,000 USD dollars.
Thank you very much, Usi. And we have a few questions about scholarships. I know you mentioned this, but maybe briefly, if you can summarize what are the different scholarships opportunities and what are the requirements for applying for a scholarship.
Sure. So for scholarship, we aim to use those scholarships to attract bright candidates from all over the world and from different industries, from different nationalities as well. So as I mentioned, you do not need to do anything extra except if you want to apply for the Terry Zhang scholarship. If there is any Hong Kong, mainland China citizens on the line here, we also have a Jepson scholarship, which is sponsored by our corporate partner, Jepson. Then you can apply for that Jepson scholarship. For scholarship, there is basically no additional requirements, as long as if you meet the base requirement of the admissions for the MBA program, then you'll be eligible to be considered for a scholarship. So for the admission requirement, first of all, you need to have a bachelor's degree, and you need to have at least 2 years of full-time work experience so that you're eligible to apply. For full-time MBA, GMAT or GRE is mandatory. In general, for the GMAT range, that would be anything between 580 to 650. And I think for intake 2022 class, we had the highest score, which is of 770. As long as you're within that range, you should be able to meet the requirements. And for English test, if your undergraduate was not done in English, then yes, you need to take either TOEFL or IELTS.
Thank you very much for sharing the requirements about the English language proficiency, because we have a question about are all the subjects taught in English? So I assume all the subjects are taught in English, correct?
That's correct.
Great. And just a question just came in. Can you please share if there are any major differences between the 3 rounds of admission?
Sure. Thank you for your question. So basically, we have available seats for each round, but usually for round 1 and round 2, I would say the chance would be slightly higher. And usually in round 3, the competition is usually pretty keen. And if you want to give it a try for scholarships, that's the same case. In round 1 and round 2, usually we have more resource for scholarship. So if you are planning to support your study hoping to get a scholarship as well, then I highly recommend you to apply in round 1 or round 2.
Thank you very much. We have more admissions questions, but a question just came for Pauline. So maybe we can ask this one right now. So Pauline, did you take the internships during the semester or during a study break? And could you share with us how you manage your workload? Because we assume the MBA is quite exhausting.
So I think there were some people who do it like during the class period, but school allows you like 3 months of the internship period as well. So I decided to use that 3 months without any classes, just focus on doing the internship. But you can also do a part-time internship if you desire to like do it during the class. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing this. Okay, let's go back to some more admission questions. There's someone saying that they do not have a background in business. So, are there any specific requirements for people who are not coming from a business background? Can they apply, and what are the conditions?
Yeah, sure. So basically, MBA is a generalist training. Apart from business, we also have for example business tech, for example consulting. In general, for our incoming class, we have around 30% of students coming from finance. We also have some relatively unique backgrounds. For example, lawyer. For example, medical background. For example, engineering. So I think if you do not come from a business background, which means during the MBA, you may need a bit more effort to catch up with the study, because apparently MBA Russian business would involve quite a lot of courses on business. So for how they prepared for that would be to start reading some reference books or talking to people from the business world to get a sense on how things in the business world work, so that when you start the MBA program, you find it easier for you to understand a concept, or maybe to put things like theories into practices. So if you're not from a business background, yes, you can still apply to the program. But first advice to you would be to do some early on preparation. Second is, in your application, you may want to highlight what special knowledge you can bring to the class if you're not coming from a business background.
Thank you very much. And another person having a bachelor in digital business, and they wonder what kind of MBA should they pursue. Maybe you can tell us again what were the differences between the 12-month, 18-month you said. Do you have part-time MBA? What would you advise this person to pursue?
Sure. So basically, in our MBA program, we also offer courses such as big data analytics. So if you are already from that background, I'm sure you would be, relatively more familiar with that. So usually the study will be on a gradual upskill approach, which means if you are not from that background, you can take courses from an easier level, and then you move on to a more, sophisticated level. So I would say the MBA training is more a generalist training, which means you study not only the big data or big data analytics, but also management skills on how you in the future manage a team of data analysis, for example.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Another question for Pauline just came in the chat. Can you please share more about your experience on how you transition to business school from a non-business related background?
Okay. Actually, my experience, I think first semester was like so hard for me. I was like so confused about a lot of things, because you have like um, mandatory classes that you have to take, like finance, accounting, all the numbers that I haven't touched for like 4 years in my bachelor. But I think how I transition is like I leverage the experience that I used during the time that I run the business for a while. So basically, like, okay, use your experience and try to adapt with the theory and things that you learn in the school. First semester was tough. I studied so hard. I think everyone knows that I study hard because like I know nothing about like numbers and everything. But then after that, it's just like, yeah, once you understand the baseline, which is good, they force you basically first semester to take like all the foundation courses. After that, it's like how you design the courses. You use the first semester knowledge, and then you now design how you want to learn during your MBA. So that's how I transition my study. I see myself like evolved as well. Like it's no longer that hard. I understand much easier. Yeah, that's how it's like getting evolved during the program.
Thank
So
you very
not
much.
not easy, but not too hard for you to adapt. I would
This
say.
is very encouraging. Thank you. And now I have a question of my own that I want to ask Adrian to include him in the conversation. I love asking, what was your favorite class and what was the thing that surprised you the most during the program?
My favorite class, I think my favorite class was actually management consulting. Not that because I wanted to go to management consulting, just because it was a challenging class that makes you think about a lot of different problems. And well, the professor is also a very charismatic teacher that we had. I mean, I don't know if he's still there, Chris Doran, and he's a former. I think he was a partner, associate partner at McKinsey, and he teaches mainly things regarding management consulting and post-merger integration. These are the main two classes he's teaching. But just the way he's structuring his class is very up to date, first of all, with recent cases, recent challenges on how things are evolving. One class is going to ask you, hey, what does the value chain look like in the automotive industry in 20 years from now with self-driving vehicle? And you are thinking, how this value chain will look. The value chain is just to identify who are the stakeholders, who are the type of company involved, and know where is the money going to go, literally, who is going to get rich out of this change and who is going to get poor out of this change. So a lot of like questions like these are very entertaining, I thought. And this is really the type of class where you go and you end up, first of all, you're drained because it's very tiring. But second of all, it's like, I did not know that. I never thought about this question like this. I thought it was going to be a lot simpler problem than what I thought it was. So this is definitely a class I recommend to take. Yeah. And it changed you also for the rest, even if you're not in management consulting. In the end, it's about solving problems, structuring your reasoning, structuring your approach to a problem, and making sure you dig deep enough into it, as well as making presentation. I mean, this class is very challenging. You are expected to solve a business problem every single week with your team. And these problems are probably the most complicated I was solving during business school. Yeah.
Thank you, Adrian. It sounds like a lot of fun. And actually, a question just came in for you. You mentioned that the school faculty is part of the reason that you decided to enroll. Could you elaborate a little bit a bit more about this?
So it's difficult to see if you just look at the websites and this kind of thing. But if you look in Asia and look at the professors that are in there, and maybe also check reviews from past students, you will see that HKUST faculty is much more aligned to a top US MBA faculty level, much more than any other business school in Asia. And in the sense that you have professors who are teaching them, you have a mix between academic and also a professional. And this is not what you find in other MBA. I think many people who did exchange in other MBA in Asia find them very academic. And this is not something that you will see at HKUST if you take a wide variety of course. It's not so straightforward to see from outside one more time, but you will see professors like Chris Doran, who was there. I took 2 of his course, but many others that were former investment banker, former teachers in US business school, practitioner, and they definitely have a way to make the course entertaining, a lot more challenging than just reading in a book. the most interesting courses that you will take do not have a single book. It's about solving problems, and it's about being. You will learn the academic on the side. I want to say, in the end, the problem is what leads you to the technical tools. But the technical tools are something you learn on the side, not during class. During class, you focus is on solving the problems. That's what it is. And then on the side, yes, you have to learn about accounting because it's useful for merger and acquisition, for instance, because you need to read the balance sheet, the statement, and everything. But this is more something that you should be doing on the side, which I think makes the MBA a lot more entertaining and a lot more a much richer experience. Yeah.
Thank you very much, both Adrian and Pauline, for sharing their experience with us. Usi, we don't have any more questions, so if you have any final words, advice for the people who are listening. You can unmute yourself.
Sorry. So thank you, Nelly, and of course, thanks, Pauline and Adrian. Finally, my final word would be an MBA would be a very big decision that you're going to make, like what Pauline and Adrian did. So it's really good initiative for you to take time to join us at this information session, and also to do some research on your MBA, future MBA. So if you have any question, please feel free to connect with our team. We are so happy to connect with you through a one-on-one consultation. And if you are coming from Korea or coming from Bangkok, our team will actually be in Korea on the 10th of November and in Bangkok on the 14th of November. So we will meet our inspiring MBA candidates there. If you wish to arrange a one-on-one coffee chat, please get in touch with us at mba@ust.hk. You can write email to us. Otherwise, we're happy to arrange Zoom consultations with you. And good luck to you on your MBA research journey.